Right now, gas stations all over the eastern seaboard are suffering from a week-long gas shortage that has left thousands of stations completely out of gas. What we've seen is reminiscent of the 1970s, when Americans had to sit in long lines to fill their cars with gas. And why are we experiencing this crisis? Because Russian hackers attacked the Colonial Pipeline, which had to shut down operations on May 7th. And what is the reward Russia gets for attacking our infrastructure? Well, on the topic of Russia, just yesterday, President Biden doubled down on what is becoming a consistent soft on Russia position from the Biden administration, making the decision to disregard bipartisan legislation that passed through this body seeking to shut down the Nord Stream 2 pipeline that Putin is desperately trying to complete between Russia and Germany. That pipeline had been shut down. We had succeeded in a bipartisan victory stopping that pipeline, but sadly, Putin resumed building the pipeline shortly after Joe Biden was elected. And yesterday, President Biden made the decision to refuse to enforce the bipartisan sanctions on the company building the pipeline for Putin. If that wasn't enough, it's clear the Biden administration does know how to shut down pipelines. The Keystone Pipeline, his first day in office, Joe Biden signed an executive order shutting down the Keystone Pipeline, destroying 11,000 jobs, including 8,000 union jobs, all destroyed by the Biden-Harris administration. For whatever reason, the Biden-Harris administration seems to have a philosophy that American pipelines and American jobs are bad, but Russian pipelines and Russian jobs are apparently good. And Russian hackers should get rewarded with Putin getting billions of dollars because Joe Biden refuses to stand up to Putin. The impact here at home of the Russian hacking. Colonial Pipeline transports 100 million gallons of fuel all over the East Coast every day. It's responsible for transporting 45% of the fuel on the East Coast, running from Texas to New Jersey. The Colonial Pipeline is a critical piece of infrastructure. And when it shut down, it gravely disrupted the daily lives of millions of Americans. Fuel for cars, for aviation fuel, for heating homes, all completely shut down. I'm standing here today because one thing this crisis has shown us is that we need to diversify how we transport energy in this country, so that if our critical infrastructure is attacked again, and we know it is going to be attacked again, that we have other reliable ways to transport energy. One way to strengthen redundancy, to strengthen our ability to make it through another attack, is to allow liquefied natural gas, or LNG, to be transported by rail. Last year, the Pipeline and Hazardous Materials Administration finalized a rule allowing the safe transportation of LNG by rail. What this rule does is enable natural gas that is used for transportation, that is used for generating electricity, for heating homes, for manufacturing, to be transported by railroad, which helps Americans in hard-to-reach areas access the fuel that they need. It also takes pressure off of other critical infrastructure to meet our energy needs. But now that Joe Biden is president, and he has empowered officials in his administration that have a repeated and demonstrated hostility to American pipelines and American jobs and American energy independence, this rule is in jeopardy. When the Secretary of Transportation was before the Senate for confirmation, I repeatedly asked the Secretary to commit to maintaining the existing rule allowing the safe transport of LNG by rail, and repeatedly the Secretary refused to make that commitment. Well, the foolishness of that position is now evident to everyone as we have gas lines and skyrocketing gas prices on the East Coast and throughout the country. Therefore, Madam President, I ask unanimous consent that the Committee on Commerce be discharged from further consideration of S-1012 and the Senate proceed to its immediate consideration. I ask unanimous consent that the bill be considered read a third time and passed, and that the motion to reconsider be considered made